Welcome to another episode of Mindful Games, a show about how understanding mental health can help us improve and enjoy games even more. Mindfulness is the practice of tuning our attention inwards and getting in touch with what it is we need at any specific moment. When we do this, we're able to process what it is we need to in order to pop off in games and in life. In this episode, we're talking about motivation. Motivation, simply put, is what gets us to do things. We're diving deeper into the concept of motivation with the help of Dr. Christina Frederick, a professor and researcher at Embry-Riddle University's Gears Lab. The Gears Lab is where Dr. Frederick and other researchers can study things like team dynamics, how game design affects players, and how relationships are formed online, all from a psychological perspective.
The number of the faculty in the department, including myself, had an interest in studying how people interact with games, whether they be, online games, computer-based games, virtual reality games, and what happens when people play together. My particular interest really is in motivation and personality and how people think about online relationships and, perhaps interact in online games.
Dr. Frederick was a wealth of knowledge, and I was reeling in excitement after our conversation. I've spent the last few months studying motivation theory and have found a clear connection between what motivates us and how, when our motivational needs aren't met, our ability to enjoy and play games suffers. This is Mindful Games. Psychologically speaking, motivation is what makes us act and behave in specific ways. It's not something we can just find one day. It's taught to us over our lifetimes by our environments and hardwired into our individual personalities. As humans, our bodies have physiological needs, things like food, water, and sleep. We also have psychological needs.
The perspective that I come from really talks about some very basic psychological needs that people have. Gaming can certainly fulfill those needs, but there are also kind of some things to be aware of, right, as people enter into this motivational environment so that they can have a better experience and more positive experience for themselves.
A theory developed by Edward Deci and Richard Ryan called self-determination theory explains the three psychological needs we all have ingrained in us.
There are three basic psychological needs that we have. The three needs that people have are autonomy, competence, and relatedness.
Autonomy is the ability to make our own decisions. Competence is the ability to learn skills and gain mastery in various things. And relatedness is the feeling of connection to other people, a sense of belonging.
The other big one, of course, in gaming is competence, the second need, the second psychological need. This is where games really, really excel. And the game developers and the companies, are probably the best experts, I would say, in the world at this point on how to engage their players through the use of competence building strategies. In games, oftentimes, a game you'll start out, you'll get a couple, wins, or, you'll be successful right off the bat. And that's a really good way to get someone into a game and start fulfilling their sense of competence. Because if you get into something and it's so hard that you have to persist for an incredible length of time in order to get your first achievement or your first win or your first success, oftentimes you're going to get frustrated and leave before that happens.
This need to feel competent that we all have is exactly why most games we play start out presenting simple concepts of the game's core mechanics. In the tutorial or intro of a game, we are introduced to things like character abilities and objectives. As we progress through each level or climb the ranks in competitive games, we come across more complex mechanics or more skillful opponents, requiring us to think of new ways to apply the skills we've gathered in our progression through the game. When we are unable to succeed time and again because of our lack of skills, or find ourselves in environments that require too much of us, we increase our chances of losing interest and often get frustrated. Our need to feel competent is no longer being met, so our motivation to play is lacking. Imagine this. You've just finished the tutorial in a new multiplayer team-based game, and you're hopping into your first match. This game has everything you like in a new title. Cool characters, vibrant colors, and visceral combat. You load into your first match, and someone on your team tells you which character you're going to play. You start to feel a tightening in your stomach, but you choose to ignore it because you just want to play. The match begins. Your team is off to a rough start and is down at the half. Tensions are running high. At a decisive point in the match, you find yourself in a 1v2 clutch situation. Instead of letting you play out the round, one of your teammates decides they're going to tell you exactly how to use your abilities. You lose the round, and that tightening in your stomach spreads to your chest. You've been robbed of your feeling of autonomy.
When we have the pressures coming down on us all the time, you have to do this, you have to do that, you can't do this, our autonomy suffers.
Do you know why you enjoy video games? It's because you enjoy video games. No one else is telling you to enjoy them or making you play them, hopefully at least.
No. No deagles. You guys aren't that good. Vectors and stingers. Come on.
You guys aren't that good. Oh my god, dude.
Sorry, boss. None of us are that good. Put the deagles away. Sell them. Put them in the pocket. We don't hit those.
When we get told how to play a game, or a game forces us to use a certain weapon we may not like using, a part of our self-motivation suffers, and we can lose interest quickly, or get frustrated. Video games have always been a way for me to connect to people. Back in my childhood, it was just me and my brother sitting in front of a 14-inch monitor playing Battlefront. Now it's me and my friends hanging out on Discord, enjoying light conversation over a Rocket League session, or meeting all sorts of fine folks in Valorant 10-mans. For me, relatedness is the key motivator when it comes to gaming. Games like Valorant, Overwatch, and League of Legends can be places where long-lasting relationships form. One of my longest-running friendships started back in 2015 when I met my buddy Carl on an LFG board for Trials of Osiris and Destiny. We queued up Trials almost every weekend, and after a while we started talking about our lives with each other. The competitive environment can make or break relationships. Games also allow me to keep in touch with old friends from school, or friends who move away. What brings people together more than working toward a common goal, or sharing a common interest?
If you enter a game or are on a team and the negative feedback about yourself becomes, more intense, or perhaps to you is perceived as more salient than the positive, the tendency would be then to leave the game because you're not really feeling that sense of relatedness.
Competitive team-based games thrive most when teams come together to strategize and fight to keep team morale high. They struggle when teammates berate each other's misplays or trash talk. That's when players begin to feel less connected to their teammates and sometimes even decide to throw the game. Most of us play games to enjoy ourselves. It's a hobby. Hopefully, self-determination theory provides some explanation of why you enjoy the games you play. Maybe for you, gaming is all about the process of learning the mechanics and executing, or being set free to roam a wide-open cityscape to immerse yourself in a new world, or create new long-lasting friendships. Next time you sit down to play a game, think about why you want to play it, and notice when the game isn't giving you what you were hoping to receive. It's okay to be upset when a game doesn't deliver a positive experience for you. Take a step away. Grab a snack and drink some water. Touch some grass. Catch up with a friend. Take some time to practice mindfulness. Get in touch with what it is you need in the moment. Games will always be there waiting for you when you're ready to come back. Got something else to add to the conversation? Leave a comment below or join the Mindful Gamers Discord server. We host community game nights, give you the resources to connect to other players, and enjoy meeting other like-minded gamers. Until next time, I'll see you in queue.